Hello, and welcome to the session. Today, we will be talking about listening. Now, I cannot stress enough on how important it is for a good speaker to be a good listener as well. Because you cannot have a speaker, or rather, should I say, you cannot have a good speaker who is not a good listener, if you ask me. As a good speaker, you are supposed to be responding in a pinpointed manner to the people around you. So if you are not sure as to what you have to respond to, in other words, you don't know what is being said to you, what your fellow interactors want to learn from you, what kind of information they're demanding of you, what kind of information they're requesting you to give them. If you're not sure what you should be doing or what you should be saying, then I'm sorry, you cannot be a good speaker. A good communicator is one who listens well. You cannot be a good speaker in isolation. Good speaking and good listening go together. You cannot be a great listener. You can still be a great listener and not a good speaker. But if you are a good speaker, it is necessary, if you ask me, that you have to listen well. If you don't listen well, you can't respond well. And if you can't respond well, if you cannot speak in a pinpointed manner, if you cannot give the specific information that is requested of you, then you cannot be considered a good orator. So I have a presentation on listening. It's a very verbose, text-heavy presentation. So my apologies if you find it a little too heavy with text, but I have deliberately made it text-heavy because, I have covered various very essential, very important points in the presentation, and that helps me cut down on the explanation part and allows me to straight away jump into the interaction part with the participants. So I start with the presentation right now, and in this roughly 1 hour duration class, I hope to have a good amount of interaction with our fellow participants as well. After this presentation, which I'll try to finish quickly, which would mean I wouldn't be explaining too much after reading the slides, I will straight away jump into the spontaneous part of this session, whereby I'll ask two of my learned participants to present spontaneous speeches. So let's jump into the presentation. Here we go. All right, so the presentation is Listen Please, one of the greatest arts of life. Yes, indeed, listening is a great art. You have people who speak well. Well, if you ask me, they don't speak well, but yes, they probably construct their sentences in an acceptable way. But those people don't listen well. And because they don't listen well, they do not quite supply the information that people around them want them to give. So they end up being speakers of little importance. They are not considered as good communicators. Your speaking abilities may not be great, but if you're a great listener and you're still making an effort to speak well, probably making mistakes here and there, but you're making an effort to speak well, and you're supplying the information, you're giving the information that is asked of you, you will still be considered a good communicator. So that is how important listening is. So let's find out some essential aspects, some important points relating to listening. Before that, just give me a second. I just need to make a technical adjustment. Just a second, please. All right. Here we go. Listen, please. Okay. So learn to English, not learn to English, learn to listen, it should be. Learn to listen. So you wish to speak fluent English, don't you? Then first learn to listen. Only a good listener could be a good speaker. The steps I have described in this lesson could go a long way in helping you become an effective listener. Please pay attention. What I'm going to tell you now will really hold you in good stead. It'll make you a great communicator, because today I'm going to tell you how to listen. How can you be a pro listener? Very important to be a pro listener if you aspire to be a pro orator. You cannot be a good communicator unless you are making a conscious effort to listen well. And by picking up the tricks and traps that have been explained in this lesson, you will end up doing very well. You will be able to speak very well. So here we go. Gathering information. Listening well is the key to understanding what others are saying and communicating effectively. When you listen carefully, you can learn a lot about the other person and gain valuable insights. Good listening skills also help you build strong relationships and resolve conflicts. If you want to be a good speaker, make sure to develop your listening skills. So what happens is you are able to gather a lot of information. You also show respect to the other person when you are paying attention to his or her words. And it also helps you build strong relationships. Why so? Because when you are listening well, you are, just by this gesture of making a conscious effort to listen to the person who's talking to you, making a conscious effort to listen to that person, you are showing him or her respect. And when you show such respect to the person who's talking to you, you end up building a strong relationship with that person. That is why listening is so very important. You are gathering a lot of information, because when you are speaking, you are giving out information, you are divulging information. But when you are listening, you are gathering information, you are collecting information. And it is always good to be a recipient of information. So you are gathering information by effective listening. All right, moving on. Baby at work. Imagine how a baby learns the language her parents and other relatives speak around her. She doesn't make a conscious effort to learn the language. The parents or the other family members do not take any pains to teach the baby the rules of the language they speak. Yet the baby picks up the language. How does she do that? She does that by listening. You can understand how effective listening is in your spoken English communication journey. Because when you are listening to people, you are listening to good speakers, you are imbibing the nuances of good speech. You are listening to beautiful expressions. You are listening to those lucid talks, those beautifully crafted sentences. And by paying careful attention, by listening to all that, you are also tending to become like those great speakers. When you listen to great speakers, when you listen to great orators, when you listen to an expert non-native speaker or a native speaker, or let me put it this way, let me not discriminate between native speakers and non-native speakers. When you listen to expert non-native and native speakers alike, and you listen to them well, you are picking up nuances of the language, the tricks and traps of the language. For example, when I was a little boy, I heard somebody say, "Oh, I was panic-stricken at the thought of going there." And I picked up that expression, panic-stricken at the thought. Then I would use expressions such as, "Hey, I'm panic-stricken at the thought of going to school." So you can pick up nuances of English when you listen to good English. You should be listening to expert speakers. And how does a baby learn the language? By listening. Just the way a baby learns the language that is being spoken around her by listening, you should be listening like a baby, always trying to gather information, always trying to collect stuff about the language. And what will that do? That will help you become a better speaker. That will help you become a great orator. Okay, let's move on. Listen, 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 and listen. Listening is a great way of learning a language, so begin to listen. Listen to everything being spoken in your English environment. The dialogues of the movies and television shows, the narratives of the documentaries, the audio trainings, the podcasts, the words of the members of the English-speaking group you have formed. Begin to listen to everything being spoken with as much focus and concentration as you can muster. Muster means as you can gather. Try to understand the words and the sentences. It is okay if you cannot understand everything that is being said. Just make it a habit to listen as much as possible. This way, you will be able to learn the language quickly and effectively. So you have an English environment already around you. You are doing spontaneous speech every day, or I hope you're doing spontaneous speech every day. You are also doing shadowing on at least 2 audiovisual files that have been provided thus far. And I believe 10 have been provided thus far. 90 more will be provided to you. So when you practice spontaneous, when you practice shadowing, and when you do coterie talk, you are already in an English environment. That is why it is good to have a coterie where there are a variety of speakers. If you have 6 people, or sometimes even 8 people, maybe not more than 8, maybe 10 at times, but not more than 10. But very few people in the coterie is also not going to help you, right? Because you again tend to get into that comfort zone. It is always good to have an ideal size for the coterie. And if you ask me, the ideal size is 6. So when you are talking in the coterie and beyond the coterie to other people, you are generating this English environment for yourself. So apart from generating the English environment by way of spontaneous speech, by way of shadowing and coterie talk, you can also expand this English environment by watching English movies, listening to English newscasts, listening to English podcasts. Well, yes, I strongly recommend you listen to Obscurus. That is my podcast, your teacher's podcast, okay? I'm just joking. You can listen to any podcast, but yes, I'll be happy if you listen to Obscurus. Those stories are very dear to me, right? I've written all those stories with a lot of research and tried to put in twists in every story. So I'll be very happy if you listen to Obscurus. Okay. And don't confine yourself to one podcast alone. I'm not suggesting that you listen to Obscurus alone. Listen to as many podcasts as you can. And then watch a lot of documentaries. Listen to good narratives. Listen to great orators. Orators are available on YouTube, and you have orators on TED Talks, and you have so many other forums. You also have your office live forums where good orators might come and speak. So listen to good speakers. If you listen to good speakers, your English also will improve. Remember what I said about that panic-stricken, that expression panic-stricken? I imbibed it as a child. And I would often say, hey, I'm panic-stricken at the thought of going there. I'm panic-stricken at the thought of eating this. That is how you pick up nuances, expressions from English language here and there. And when do you pick up such nuances? When do you pick up such expressions, effective expressions? When you are willing to listen and listen well. Make a conscious effort to listen well. All right. A great trick to follow. Now, what about your present listening skills? Are you good at listening? Unless you belong to a particular class of highly effective communicators, the answer is likely to be no. But don't worry, I have a great trick that can make you an attentive listener. I believe this trick to be the fastest and the best way to improve listening skills. I'm giving you a trick, and this trick will make you an effective listener like this, okay? Let's see what that trick is. Every sentence matters. If you have attended my live classes, probably you know this trick, but it's always a good idea to rekindle your memory, right? I'm sure you know this trick if you have attended my live classes. For those of you who are getting to learn this trick for the first time, please understand this is a great trick to be an effective listener. Every sentence matters. Did I hear you ask what the trick is? Well, it is a simple trick. One must consciously focus on every sentence one hears. Be mindful of the words being exchanged around you. Somebody is either speaking to you or someone else in your vicinity. And these words are being spoken in a series of sentences. I believe the best way you can improve your listening skills is to consciously focus on each sentence. Be aware of when a sentence starts and when it ends. So all you have to do is to break the listening process into sentences. Instead of listening to a gross stuff, instead of listening to a series of sentences, or listening to a chunk of words, or listening to a chunk of speech, what you do is break that chunk as that man or as that woman speaks to you into a series of sentences. Be conscious as to when a sentence is beginning and when a sentence is ending. If you can consciously register in your mind when a sentence is beginning and when the sentence is ending, sentence is being spoken by the speaker. Right now, when I'm talking to you, if you consciously listen to where I'm beginning the sentences and where I'm ending the sentences, each sentence, where I begin each sentence, where I finish each sentence. So if you are listening to somebody sentence by sentence, instead of chunk by chunk, you will be a pro listener right away. But please understand, it is not easy to be listening sentence by sentence. Why not? There could be a number of reasons. Some people do not speak in full sentences. They speak in strands. Strand means a half sentence. When I'm talking to you like this, probably, although it's not good to be calling myself a professional speaker, but yes, I try and make a conscious effort to speak in full sentences. Not everybody speaks in full sentences. And that is why it'll not be possible for you to actually break down a chunk of speech into sentences, sentence by sentence. When I say you have to listen sentence by sentence, it is very easy to break a chunk into sentences when that speaker is a good orator. But what if you're talking to an average man or an average woman who does not speak in sentences, but speaks in strands? I'll give you some example. And a professional orator would speak to you this way. Suppose I'm talking about my visit to Kolkata, right? Or say my visit to Amritsar. What will I say? I took a train at night last week and went to Amritsar. Amritsar is a beautiful place. I enjoyed the splendor of the spiritual buildings over there. I loved being at the Golden Temple, and I ate langar over there. The langar was so tasty. I can tell you, even the foodstuffs offered by 7-star hotels would fail when you compare the food of langar to the foods being offered by those big hotels. And the best part about eating the langar was the love and affection the people who were serving the food were giving to us. Their vibes were so positive. I felt myself spiritually transformed, tremendously enriched in my mind and soul by visiting the Golden Temple. Then I also got the chance of visiting the Wagha border, and I saw the great soldiers of our nation, those wonderful people who toil day in and day out to protect us, to provide us with security, with safety. I love the Indian Armed Forces. Then I went to several other places in Amritsar. I also did a lot of shopping. I ate some wonderful Amritsari foods. So this is one way of describing my visit to Amritsar. But there are other professional ways, and most people talk to you in unprofessional ways. I could be speaking like this. Well, I took a train, and flight was not available, and so I had to go to Amritsar. And in the morning, I reached, and the hotel was good. Oh yes, I ate the langar, at Golden Temple. It was so good, and the people over there were people are loving. Usually in the gurdwaras, where you visit any gurdwara, they'll offer food with a lot of affection. Wagha border. Oh, you should have been with me at Wagha border. These Indian soldiers are, my goodness, so valorous, so great. I love them. Okay, so shopping. By the way, we went for shopping, yes, and it was a good experience. Um, Foods. Oh, what do I say? The the delicacies. Amritsar is full of such great food. And before going to Wagha border, in fact, in the hotel itself, we were told that we should certainly visit that place. And coming back to the langar. Okay. Oh yes, it was delicious, lovely. I love that food. I absolutely love that food. So 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 it was such a great experience. So in the second description of Amritsar, you could sense that that the description was not very pretty, because I was speaking in strands. People often speak like this. They don't speak to you in full sentences. So if people are speaking to you in full sentences, you are lucky to be in such company. You can break down the chunk of speech into sentences. Be aware as to when a sentence begins and when a sentence ends. And when you are listening to a person who is not a pro speaker, all right, please make a special effort and determine when a strand is beginning and when the given strand is ending. So you have to either break the speech into sentences, listen sentence by sentence, or you listen strand by strand. That is how you become an effective speaker. I hope you understand. All right, let's move on. I'll illustrate the process. So I'm sorry about the coughing. I'm still not completely recovered. Okay, so what to do with strands? Sometimes the speaker may not complete the sentences she starts, but that's okay. Let's call the incomplete sentences strands. Just as you need to do with complete sentences, focus on when the strand begins and when it ends. That's all you have to do. Okay, we've already spoken about it, so I'll not spend any more time on that. Be mindful. By becoming mindful of when a sentence begins and when it ends, or when a strand starts and when it ends, as the case may be, you will be able to grab the speaker's message much better. All right. Overall context is not good enough. Instead of being conscious of the sentences or the strands, if you try inferring the message of the overall context, you may miss some essential points. That's how we normally act. We listen to chunks of sentences. We listen to chunks of speech. And we just try to infer the message, from the overall context of the speech being made, from the overall context of all the speech. We just try to infer the message. We try to cull out the import of what is being said to us. That is not pro listening. Pro listening is paying attention to every sentence and to every strand, whatever the case may be. Now, please keep it in mind. that you possibly cannot be focusing on every sentence, because the human mind will digress, will be shifting stance no matter how hard you try. Your mind will move hither and thither, here and there. You could be concentrating hard, focusing hard, and yet your mind will just move from one point to another and it'll digress. Be sure of that. So while you are making a conscious effort to listen sentence by sentence or strand by strand, you may suddenly realize, oh my goodness, I have just lost my concentration. And many of the sentences were spoken which I did not give attention to, which I did not listen to sentence by sentence or strand by strand. Doesn't matter. The moment you realize that you lost your concentration and you stop that act of listening sentence by sentence or strand by strand, bring your mind back to the act of listening and listen sentence by sentence and strand by strand. Again, you lose focus, bring back your mind into the act. It is just like meditating. When you are meditating, you cannot be meditating at all times. Your mind will just shift its position. You know, mind has been compared with a wild horse in many of our brilliant scriptures, Sanatan Dharma scriptures. So that's what the mind is. It is like holding the reins of some wildly moving horses. Horse is not moving in the same direction, but in different directions, and you are having to hold the reins. It's not easy to be controlling the mind. So the mind will lose its focus. The mind will change its position. The mind will force you to think of other things when you're trying to focus hard. So it doesn't matter. The way we have to bring our mind back to meditation, every time we realize that our mind has kind of taken itself off from the process of meditation and gone somewhere else, likewise, you have to bring your mind back to the act of listening when you realize that you are actually not listening sentence by sentence or strand by strand. Okay, moving on. Raising communication powers. So the best way to improve your listening skills is to become aware of each sentence or strand. Once you have developed the skill, you will find that your listening comprehension has increased manifold, and you will be able to follow conversations much better. So what happens is your grasp, your understanding, your overall intake improves when you listen sentence by sentence or strand by strand, as the case may be, or sentence by strand. Some people speak in full sentences followed by a strand. So regardless of what kind of a speaker you are listening to, try and determine the points of beginning and the points of end of the sentences in the strand. So you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. Vipassana. You might have heard of Vipassana meditation. The expression Vipassana means to observe things as they really are. In Vipassana meditation, we train our minds to be aware of the present moment. We become aware of the sensation occurring in the present moment, be it a physical sensation or a mental sensation. So what we do in Vipassana, we try to be present in the present. Repeating, we try to be, a yogi tries to be, a meditator tries to be present in the present. Very important. Someday I might write a book, be present in the present. Don't you steal my title, okay? The potential writers over there or the writers over there. No problem. You want to write? Go ahead, write. Okay. Be present in the present. Exactly. So in the same way, when you are listening to someone speaking, you must become aware of the words spoken in the present moment. Don't let your thoughts stray to the past or future, and your thoughts do not stray away from the present when you are concentrating on the speaker's current sentence. This is a very effective way of improving your listening skills. So we have already discussed this. We'll not spend any more time on this, okay? Make conscious efforts. So focus on each sentence or strand of the speaker. The sources of the words could be a television show or a real person. It doesn't matter. Simply concentrate on the present sentence or strand, and soon you will find that your listening skills have improved tremendously. You know how to be focusing, how to listen. Now you know this trick of listening. Use this technique. Use this technique. Regardless of what you're doing, you could be watching a movie, you could be watching a documentary, listening to an audiobook, listening to your boss, listening to your juniors, listening to somebody in the market, listening to a shopkeeper, for example, listening to the person who's serving you food, no matter who you're listening to, break the speech into sentences, right? Sentence by sentence, strand by strand. Keep that in mind. Okay, I'll be moving a little fast now. All right, illustration of listening, right? I will illustrate the process. Imagine someone saying the following. I'm illustrating sentence by sentence listening. Somebody is saying this to you. This project is very important to the company. It is a large-scale venture that will hugely impact our bottom line. I'm confident we shall complete it on time and within budget. The output will be of high quality, I believe. But the success of the project will depend on how well I coordinate the work with the project manager and the team. Sometimes, you see, even petty mistakes can jeopardize the work. So I have to be very careful. But overall, I'm optimistic about the outcome of this project. This is what somebody has said to you. So how should you be listening to this stuff? This is how an average listener will listen. An average listener will not concentrate on each sentence or strand. Instead, she will try to derive the import of the speaker's message from the overall context. This is not what I call effective listening. So what is effective listening? What will a good listener do? Unlike the average listener, an effective listener will focus on each sentence or strand. She will be mindful of when the speaker begins each sentence or strand and when she ends it. The effective listener will break down what the speaker is saying into a series of sentences and strands as illustrated next. So I've illustrated how you break it up. See how a good listener breaks down the speech she is listening to. Now, the same speech can be broken down in your mind in this manner. This project is very important to the company. Right? You know where the sentence begins, where the sentence ends. Next sentence begins. It is a large-scale venture that will hugely impact our bottom line. Sentence ends. Next sentence begins. I am confident we shall complete it on time and within budget. Sentence ends. Next sentence begins. The output will be of high quality, I believe. Sentence ends. Next sentence begins. But the success of the project will depend on how well I coordinate the work with the project manager and the team. Sentence ends. Next sentence begins. Sometimes you see the strand ends, next strand begins. Even petty mistakes can jeopardize the work. Strand ends, next sentence begins. So I have to be very careful. Sentence ends, next sentence begins. But overall, I am optimistic about the outcome of this project. So the speech ends now with the end of that sentence. Now, if you have been following me and following me the way I have been reading this text, I'm sure you might have realized that the earlier chunk of speech read together, or when you listen to that chunk together and you try to derive the import by listening to the whole chunk, wasn't as effective. The listening part or the listening became much more effective when you broke that chunk into sentences and strands. And you have to do it in your mind. Now, somebody might say that you have to break them into exact sentences and exact strands. Well, not really. Go by your gut feeling. Go by your intuition. Let your mind decide when the sentence is beginning and when the sentence is ending, or when the strand is beginning and when the strand is ending. I repeat, let your gut feeling, let your mind decide when the sentence is beginning and when the sentence is ending, or when the strand is beginning and when the strand is ending. In the above listening pattern, each forward slash indicates conscious mental registration of the beginning of a sentence or strand, and each backward slash indicates conscious registration of the ending of a sentence or strand. You clearly understand that. Now, I will be sharing all the presentations I have made thus far with you on the WhatsApp forum. For those of you who are watching the YouTube video, you can make a request to me, and I'll be providing the presentations to you as well. Okay, those of you who are following this course on YouTube. Okay, moving on. One of this training's objectives, you must have understood by now that an effective listener is mindful of every sentence or strand, unlike the average listener who receives the message from the broad overall context of what the speaker has said. As a student of this training program, your goal must be to become an effective listener. You must focus on each sentence or strand, no matter what you are listening to: movie dialogues, podcasts, audio training, speeches, or the spoken words of the person talking to you or someone around you. Done. A neglected area. Listening is a talent that is often overlooked but is crucial to communication. When we listen effectively, we are able to understand the speaker's message and respond in a way that is helpful and supportive. We know this. No more time is required to be spent on this. Okay, benefits of effective listening. We have also discussed this. We'll not spend too much time on this also. Now, let's talk about the benefits of effective listening in conversations. First, it allows you to build better relationships. We know that. When we listen attentively, we show the other person that we value her and what she has to say. Indirectly, it means you are showing respect to that, to the speaker. This in turn fosters trust and respect. Second, effective listening leads to better decisions. By taking the time to understand all sides of an issue, we can make informed decisions that take into account the requirements of everyone involved. So you can take better decisions if you listen well, because you gathered a lot of information and you have this perspective from all sides. You have a bird's eye view of the issue that the person has just explained to you, right? So that is why effective listening is so important. Okay, more benefits. Third, good listening skills can help reduce conflict. When we listen to others, we are able to see their perspective and find common ground. Fourth, listening effectively can help us achieve our goals. By understanding what the other person wants or needs, we can better tailor our message to meet her requirements. So you supply the exact information that is being demanded of you, that is being requested of you. We have discussed this, so no more discussion on this. Okay, avoid gaps, very important. Fifth, listening reduces, if not eliminates, the chances of your making embarrassing gaffes. You know, those foot in mouth moments when you say something completely inappropriate because you misheard or misunderstood what was said. By speaking less and listening more, you prevent those gaffes from happening. You actually don't expose yourself. Suppose you have not understood a subject well, or you don't understand the subject well, and that subject is being discussed. That subject is being explained to you. So you should be paying attention. You should attentively listen to what is being said to you, and shouldn't be making a stray comment, a loose comment. When you make such a loose comment, you expose yourself. You show your little knowledge. Now, we are not here to expose ourselves. We are not here to expose our little knowledge. If we have little knowledge, we rather stay mum. We rather keep quiet and listen, right? That should be the approach of communication, good communication. Still more benefits. There are more benefits. Last but not least, good listening is civility in action. It is civility, right? It's a gesture of goodwill. When you listen, you show that you are interested in what the person has to say. That is goodwill and respect. So from now on, whenever you strike up a conversation with someone, remember to be an effective listener. That's not all about listening. There's more that I need to tell you, and that more is crucial to mastering the art of communication. A little more. What more? Listen with your eyes as well. Please understand that you listen not just with your ears, but also with your eyes. Observing the body gestures of the speaker is as important as listening to the words that he or she is saying. Now, my body gesture must be conveying to you that I'm really interested in teaching you stuff. If I had been teaching you like this, body gesture also matters. And see the time. Right. So listening is good. Listening is good. And you should be paying attention to the listener. Yes, it does help you build good relationships. You will immediately know from my actions, from the way my eyes are moving, my lips are moving, from the way my body is moving, the sluggishness in me, that I'm not interested in teaching you. Suppose you go to a person and you visit a person and you sit with him or her, and that person is constantly looking at the wall clock. How will you feel? For example, say you have visited a person and that person is talking to you. Yes, hello, how are you? Yeah, That person is not even asking whether you want to have tea. Okay. Yes, I have a meeting after some time. And well, and he picks up the mobile, he or she picks up the mobile and starts surfing through stuff. And you are sitting right in front of him or her. Nah, yeah. And then probably call somebody. Hello, yeah. I heard it. Yes. Yeah, get it done. Yes, get it done. So how will you feel? The body gesture itself is indicative of the fact that the person is unwilling to talk to you. And if the person is speaking to you with all excitement, hello, yes, I'm so happy to have you here. Now see, now that you have come here and you're meeting me after a long time, I'll not let you go without a cup of coffee. Please give me this much honor at least to have some coffee with me. You know, spending time with you is such a delight. I'll love to have a healthy exchange of ideas over coffee. Now, no, you are not going anywhere. You'll be sitting right here and I'll be ordering the coffee. So that gives you a completely different impression. The person is willing to talk to you. So you just do not listen with your ears. You also listen with your eyes, right? Because the person's non-verbal gestures will also convey a lot of stuff to you. Very important. So today you learn this new trick that you have to listen, not just with your ears, but with your eyes as well. Okay. Pick up the nonverbal cues. Body language comprises various nonverbal cues such as eye contact, facial expressions, hand gestures, posture, and tone of voice. All these together make up our body language. Studies have shown body language to make up a far greater proportion of our communication than the spoken word. In fact, the nonverbal gestures can tell you a lot more than the spoken words, right? Whether a person is happy to talk to you or unhappy to talk to you will become evident from the way he or she is behaving, right? Moving on. Look beyond the words. For example, have you ever been in a meeting where the speaker is saying one thing, but her eyes are darting all over the room, or she's looking at her watch all the time? I have just demonstrated all this, so not demonstrating them again. You know that she's not really interested in what she's saying, right? Or have you seen someone cross her arms when she's talking to you? That's a clear sign that she's not receptive to what you are saying. Say you are talking to me and I cross my arms like this and I don't look at you. I look down, then I look up at the clock and then just look at my mobile like this, and you are talking to me at all times. How will you feel? You will know that your words are unwanted, right? So, on your way to professional listening, so the next time you are in a conversation, take note of the other person's body language. It will give you important clues about how the conversation is progressing and whether or not the other person is really interested in what you have to say. Be conscious of your own gestures as well. Now, if you are so concerned about how others behave with you, how others are talking to you, you should also be respectful to others when you are talking, not just with your sweet words, respectful words, but also with your body gestures. Be warm. I want each one of you to be warm, right? Don't be warm to a hostile person. I'm not suggesting that you are warm to an enemy. No. Be warm to people you are supposed to be warm to, right? Show warmth to your friends. Show warmth to your juniors. Show warmth to your seniors as well. And show warmth in general to a person. Yes, if a person is antagonistic, uncivil, and is being unreasonable to you, by all means, you have the right to be uncivil. Not uncivil there. You can rebuke that person with civility as well. So, more often than not, you should be civil. You should be civil 99% of the times. 99.99% of the times. Okay? All right. So, likewise, be conscious of your own body language when you are speaking. Make sure that you are not sending out any negative signals. For example, if you're fidgeting or looking at your watch, the other person will think that you may be nervous or uninterested in the conversation. Don't be fidgeting things, fidgeting with objects, your mobile phone, not required. Pay attention to what the person is saying. Summing up. To sum up, effective listening means paying attention to every spoken sentence or strand and observing the speaker's body language. This will help you understand the speaker's message, respond in a helpful and supportive way, and build better relationships. And cut down the fluff from the conversation. Also, since communication is often an exchange of words, be careful about your own body language and the words you speak. You could cut down most of the loose or unnecessary expressions by being a good listener. With practice, you will learn the art of listening and become an effective communicator. That's it. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Thank goodness I finished that lengthy presentation, but I hope that it will be useful to all of you, right? Okay, getting down to business. Getting down to business right away. Okay, the two speakers today. Sanjay, be ready. Sanjay, be ready. Sanjay, your turn for the spontaneous speech. Sanjay, you're there? Yes, Sanjay. Sanjay, unmute yourself. Sanjay, unmute yourself, please. I'm giving you full screen.
Yes, sir.
The rest of the learned participants, please, please mute yourselves. Only Sanjay will unmute. Just 1 second, Sanjay. Let me adjust the time. Okay. Sanjay,
Yes, sir.
your topic for spontaneous speech is watching television. Watching television. Shoot.
Hello.
Yes, your time has started, Sanjay. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening. This this advantage of television are not that is a passive medium and it's not interactive. It can also addicting and result in lack of in lack of not in socialization. Nothing is me. Nothing is me. There are times when we feel we are bored and don't having anything to do, uh, and we search for something uh, to relieve our mind of its uh, restless chest. We only have a toy or two with these uh, limited options. Our entertainment is far away. Uh, I think so. So the modern times present us with its invaluable gift, the television. Nothing is striking. Nothing is striking. Nothing is striking. Television uh, we get to watch the uh, world. We can change channels, uh, channels, and our wish on our fingertips with help of a remote. Television was uh, television invented by the scientist. I think this statement don't know, don't remember. The earlier models of science and uh, technology, we have not a thin and affordable. We can watch television for various purposes, such as uh, such as hmm, sorry, for various purposes, such as watching television for various purposes, such as watching cartoon serials, sports, news, etc. Uh, I think this technique. In those times, we completely uh, forget about the world around us and who and who we are, and we get to immerse into that, we get addicted. Uh, television is television is so much fun that we get addicted to, and would not want any other than television. That's it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sanjay, continue. Don't stop.
Which type of television? Some television position in a in front of us as both a friend and foe. Uh, nothing is striking me. Nothing is striking me. Nothing is striking me. So, and now, but part of if you want to choose will uh, out determine the outcome of your valuable investment. Okay. Mm. With the nothing is striking me. Nothing is striking me. Nothing is striking me. Nothing is striking me. Thank you, sir. Nothing.
Keep going. Please don't stop. Say nothing is striking me, doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Nothing is striking me. 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 Although many of us uh, may not think of it is in light. Uh, TV can be considered TV can be considered to be a great stress reliever unless you are unless, unless you are TV or movie. Uh, you won't be you watching shows for work, as that after a long day at work, sit back and enjoy an episode uh, one or two, three.
Sanjay, that should do. Please applaud Sanjay for the effort. Please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sanjay, I must tell you that you are doing spontaneous for the first time in public, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Let's
sir.
get this clear. You have been doing it privately and doing okay. I
Yes, sir.
won't say it has reached a great standard. The speeches that you're making, I have got the chance to hear a couple of them. But the speech that you made today in public certainly was a challenge. And let me tell you, I am happy. I'm happy with your performance because you had the guts to do it, right? You had the guts to do it and do it so well. Your friends are um, giving you some accolades. I'll read out the messages of your friends. Okay,
Mm.
my team says, good effort, Sanjay.
Thank you, sir.
And Shivam Shaw says, you did great. I know it's tough, but never give up. And he's spot on. He is spot on. You did very well and never give up.
Thank you,
Nitesh writes, great effort, Sanjay. Really appreciate your courage. You did so well, Sanjay.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
And Seema says, you did well, Sanjay, right? And your teacher also says, you did well, Sanjay. Well tried, Sanjay. Sneha says, okay. So your
Thank,
friends are all with you.
thank you,
Before
everyone.
before proceeding further, I would like to know, Sanjay, if your coterie is functioning well. Is your coterie functioning well? Manisha writes for Sanjay. You did very well, Sanjay. Manisha applauds you, Sanjay. Okay. All right. So is your coterie working well? Are you practicing regularly in the coterie? Sanjay, I'm talking to you. Sanjay, I'm talking to you. Let's be one to
Yes, sir.
one. I'll give you full screen. Is your coterie functioning properly? Are you people talking? Okay. Okay. Lekha also has written something. Let me read her message first. Lekha has written, 1 second. Okay. How could I miss yours, Lekha? You will be so angry, huh? How could I miss your... Okay, Sanjay, good try. Earlier, I
Mm,
was also like you and was standing before the whole class and not able to speak a single word. Please continue your practice. You will get the results in just 1 month. Do the coterie talk every day and
okay, sir.
spontaneous speech as well to attend the class. Oh, Lekha, you have spoken. I'll have to give it.
Yes, sir.
Where is this sweet girl? Sweet girl, make an appearance. Lekha, there you are. I'm coming
Yes,
back to
sir.
you, Sanjay. How do
I'm
I
here.
how do I thank you, Lekha? How do I thank you for 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 voicing my mind?
No, sir, you don't have to thank us. I should thank you.
Okay. Thank you for voicing my mind. You have said exactly what I had to say. Right. And as I always say, you are sweet as ever. Right? It's such a wonderful, charming face and so soft spoken, so full of civility. And now you're becoming a pro speaker as well. Okay, so all the best. You know what? As a I'm getting back into the gallery view. As a teacher, it really makes me so glad to see you all progressing so well. I have explained this earlier that just as a parent enjoys to see the children doing very well, a teacher also enjoys the success of the students much more than he or she enjoys his or her own success. If God comes to me and says, who do you want to succeed more? Sushmita or yourself? Sanjay or yourself? Lekha or yourself? Nitesh or yourself? I'll unhesitatingly say Sushmita should excel, Sanjay should excel, Lekha should excel, Nitesh should excel. Whether I excel or not, will take a back seat. As a teacher, that is the kind of feeling, that is the kind of love and affection, right? A teacher has, almost like a parent. So you are doing yourself a great service by practicing so well, Lekha. You are fantastic, and I'm so happy that you have shared your experience, and this experience will benefit everybody. Sanjay has done a great job today, speaking in the public for the first time. His private spontaneous speeches, the ones that I've heard, are better, but doesn't matter. He has made the first public appearance and he has done very well. I'm so happy. Sanjay, I was asking you a question. Is your coterie functioning or not? Is your coterie functioning or not? Say yes or no. If no, then I'll pull up each one of your coterie members.
Sir, still, no,
Is
sir.
it functioning or not?
Sir, no.
My goodness, that's not a good sign. You know very well, each one of you, that coterie talk is one of the primal techniques, one of the primal methods to excelling. I will send a private message on your coterie for everybody to be disciplined, right? I don't want to take names here, but those who are in Sanjay's coterie, please gear up your socks and do some substantive practice. Do not do this. You have made a commitment to me, you have made a commitment to yourself, and you have made a commitment to your coterie members. Do not fail yourself. Do not fail your teacher, and do not fail your coterie members. It's sad. It is bad. Because of whatever reasons that you are not doing your coterie talk, you are affecting the development of your co-learners. And you have no right to do that. Every coterie has to function. Today, I'm giving you a standing, it's a request. I never give orders. I believe in democratic values. I, with folded hands, request each one of the coteries to function and function well. And remember, When a coterie becomes old, you tend to get into a comfort zone, and you are always unwelcoming of the new members. That's not a good habit, right? I'm not saying that you people are doing it. All I'm saying is you should always be willing to come out of your comfort zone. When you have new members in a coterie, you get the chance to listen to the new people. You get a chance to interact with the new people, and it gives you huge opportunity to come out of your comfort zone and speak in English. So Sanjay, your coterie will function, and
Okay, sir.
every coterie will function. Let me know if there is any further issue with the coterie. I'll pull up your coterie members. Okay? And Sanjay,
Okay,
well
sir.
done. Well done.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Thank you.
Okay. You're most welcome. Sneha, gear up. Sneha, gear up. Next topic is yours. Next topic is yours.
Yes, sir.
I mean, next turn is yours. I'm sorry. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let me set the time. Sneha, your topic is, I can give weird topics. Okay. Do not, I mean, you have to keep speaking, no matter how you find the topic. Your topic for spontaneous speech today is the art of cooking. The art of cooking. The art of cooking. Shoot.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sneha, and thank you, sir, for giving me such a nice topic. And spontaneous speech makes our English better. We try to be a good speaker. So spontaneous speech make us good speaker. And my topic is the art of cooking. As we all know that cooking and food is the essential things in our life. Without there's a some kind of basic needs we all human needs: shelter, food, and uh, air or oxygen. The basic things we need is food. Without cooking, we can't imagine to live, because we need in earlier days we eat like a raw things, uh, and now day by day human learn such things and enhance their life to learn many things, and cooking is one of the part of these learnings. We in a YouTube channel we also saw many of the good cooks. Either she or he, they are doing very good job in cooking profession also. And before that we don't know how cooking be a, a job or a profession in somebody's life, but now cooking be as a profession of life. We know many of the chefs and cooks in our Indian community, in our Indian society, which are very popular in India also and outside of the world also. One of the name of is Sanjeev Kapoor, who also get it nominated many times into the outside of the country, in foreign countries also, for the best cook. And there are many chains are running outside the world. So Indian cooking are very inspiring, and very have very very much sides, like a very different styles, many ways of variations in cooking. Like we know that in foreign countries, people mostly eat some raw kind of, or some boiled vegetables, and something which are they don't cook 3 times in a day. But in an Indian cooking, in Indian culture, we make fresh food and eat every day very healthy food, try to be healthy. But yes, I know Indian cooking is little bit oily, we use lots of oil in it, but it's okay, it's our tradition, we make different style. And I also feel that in India, Indian cooking is very popular in outside the world also. Like I am living in, I got experience in Japan and Germany. Both the countries, Indian curries are very famous. Even though they prepare the food like their ways, like we are eating spicy food, they are not eating spicy, but they they make the food like the country people eat like this. They don't eat much spice, so the curry was little sweet. We don't like that much. But yes, the art of cooking in nowadays, great scope. Like I also try to be open my restaurant or a snack corner in this country, or anyway. And when I'm in India, I also try to open a corn shop, because my family members said to me that says I am a good cook. They love my food. And my grandma, whenever I cook uh, pav bhaji in my house, she said, "You make very tasty pav bhaji." When she went to the Ram Leela fair, she ate pav bhaji, and she said, "Mm, how they make, you make better than this." Like, yes, thank you. At that age, I am only, I think, 14 or 15. So I love to cook. I love cooking. And the art of cooking is me for a puja, like a spiritual thing. Every day I do puja in morning. I also namaste to our Lord Annapurna Mata, because everything we are doing in our life because of food, we earning lots of money. Why? For our basic needs and for luxury lives, but the essential things we need food. Rather, without food we can't live. So this is a thing, I can say, uh, nothing is impossible, or nothing is good, nothing is better than food. Like whatever they are animals, and birds, little birds also feed her child little seeds. They also need food, they also need uh, things to live, same as we all uh, do our jobs.
Neha,
And
Neha, your speech has come to an end. Wow, remarkable. Give her a huge round of applause. Give her a huge round of applause. What a performance. Your improvement is showing. Okay. You
my nervousness is a little down.
no, your
Actually,
nervousness is not little down. It is like gone for good, evaporated. What a
thank
performance.
thank you.
Absolutely. It's a stunner of a performance. Loved it. Okay, great performance. And your improvement is actually exponential, let me tell you. Right? And your friends have okay. I have some more messages and funny ones that too. All right. So Sushmita writes, sir, I never get a chance. Sushmita, you are going to get a chance very soon. Don't worry. Okay. Very cute, very sweet of you to say that, because, that shows your confidence. I'm so happy. Rest assured, the chance is coming your way very soon. Great. I'm so glad that you say that. That shows your confidence, and that shows that everybody should, this approach of Sushmita, this, what do you call, this desire, zeal to perform is something that everybody should learn from. Even I'm learning from it. It's very good. All right. Okay, Padmini, my team member writes, remarkable performance, Neha. And I agree with my team member. Tremendous performance. Manisha writes, well done, Sneha. Absolutely right. Seema writes, you performed a great job, dear Sneha. Completely agree with her. Seema is spot on. Mohit writes, brilliant performance. No doubt, a brilliant performance. Nitesh writes, wonderful performance, Sneha. Absolutely right. All adjectives are great. Shivam Shaw writes, bingo, the only spontaneous speech she won't be expecting. A splendid show of spontaneous. Hats off to you. Indeed, hats off to you. Great. Sushmita writes, very good, Sneha. Confidence is remarkable. Completely agree. Okay, Sanjay writes, well done. Great performance. Lekha writes, yes, you have improved very much. Congratulations, Sneha. You were confident enough to do this. Well done. Well done. And wow, wow's coming from all sides, right? Sneha, well done. Great. So it is your regularity. Sneha, thanks everybody. Sneha writes, thank you everyone. Okay. So this is your regularity, your self-discipline, and your zeal to improve that is propelling you towards becoming a pro speaker. You just see what happens. We have started out with a session with a training program, but you do realize that there's a long way to go, right? By the time you reach the final pedestal, my goodness, as I said to the other two girls yesterday, you are going to give the native speakers some creeps. Okay. So, all right. So thank you very much to all of you. Tomorrow at the same time, I'll join you. Tomorrow we have some very interesting stuff. Okay. We do not have an agenda for tomorrow. By the way, I made it very clear yesterday that your essential grammar component will soon start. And there will be plenty of essential grammar exercises. These exercises are so meticulously planned, are so well researched, that they are going to give your English a solid boost. Do not miss out on the essential grammar lessons. Please make sure that you attend essential grammar lessons. Okay? With that said, I take your leave now, and I'll see you tomorrow again at 7:45. Thank you very much. Your performances have remarkably improved, and I'm so happy with each one of you. Take care and good night.
Good night.
Good night,
Sir.
sir. Good night,
Good
everyone.
night.
Good
Good night.
sir.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.